congratulations on this
Thank
movie.
thank you so much. Happy
I've
to
seen,
speak with you.
I've seen it twice now, and I expected
Oh,
it to
great.
be a lot of fun, but I'm like
Yeah.
still blown away by how incredibly smart that script is.
Did you see it in the theater, in the cinema with other
I
folks?
did. I did. The
Yeah.
first time I was not with a lot of people, and then the second time I was with a packed house, and like it plays well in both scenarios, but man, with a crowd, is it powerful.
I'm glad you said so. I had the same experience in Texas and I was so happy. It felt like a return to what I call the church of the cinema, where everybody in the room was like a family member of sorts. We were all laughing together. There was an electricity in the room, and it made me really warm my heart. And I do recommend seeing this movie in the theater.
Okay, so that leads into my first question here, because back in the fall, you told one of my colleagues that you would never watch The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So now that you've seen it, are you glad you watched it? And is there anything you took from it that surprised you?
Well, I had to watch it because my other hat on this movie was producer. And as a producer, it got to a point where, the studio had an opinion and the director had an opinion, and it was time for fresh eyes. And I had to, shut off half my mind and half my heart and look at the movie from a place of neutral. And as a producer, I was able to say, to the studio, I think you got to put some of Tom's flavor back in the movie. You're losing a lot of the flavor of the comedy. And to Tom, I had to say, I think these two scenes aren't landing. And I'm glad I did it, because I think we finally got to a place where the movie works as a whole in the best possible way, the best of both worlds. Um, but seeing it in the theater, just as an audience member, that was fun. That was really great.
Just because I'm curious now, what specifically is that Tom flavor that you think the movie needed more of?
Well, not worrying so much about checking all the boxes, with what, Mike, what do they call that? Those groups? Yeah, thank you. Focus groups. Like, well, we got to make the character more likable, and then they lose some of the self-deprecating humor or the irreverent humor that Tom had. Like, okay, the piano scene where the character is drunk and he's playing piano, he's making a mess at the birthday party. They homogenized it so much that the Nick Cage character wasn't doing anything wrong, and everybody was rolling their eyes. Like, well, he's just singing a sweet song to his daughter. You got to make it more of a train wreck, at the risk of him being less likable, because the character has to grow. He has to evolve into a sensitive family man. In my own life, Nicolas Cage begins as family first. I'm not someone who's a career-minded person that at the sacrifice of his family, but that was not the story Tom Gormican was trying to tell.
All right, big broad question before they kick me out of here. So obviously your filmography is incredible. It's just packed with very different, bold roles. And, it's always made me wonder, does anything scare you? Have you ever been offered a part and said to yourself, like, I don't know if I could do that?
Yeah, this was the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my entire body of work. I mean, I think I've done some of the best work in the last 10 years of my entire life. And I put Massive Talent in that period, which has been in some ways marginalized by certain folks in the media. But I think I'll put Pig and Massive Talent and Mandy and Color Out of Space and
Yes.
Bad Lieutenant and Joe and the Trust and the Runner up against anything I did in the first 30 years. But in all that time, in the 43 years I've been doing it, Massive Talent is hands down the scariest thing I've ever done.
Paid off to jump feet first into that then. So huge
Thank you.
congratulations to you. And I
Thank
cannot
you.
wait to watch this over and over.